Okay, hello, Eileen and Tony.
Atlanta, Georgia.
Hi, Ramana. It's Iva here, and I have Sophia and Cindy with me.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, Miss Parker? Yeah,
Delray Beach, Florida. Fairfax, Virginia.
Hi, Ramana. This is Alan, and Elaine's here.
Hello.
Fayetteville, North Carolina.
Hi, Ramana. This is Kathleen.
Hello, Kathleen.
Indianapolis, Indiana.
Hi, Ramana. This is Nadine.
Hello, Nadine.
Miami, Florida.
Hi, Ramana. This is Belkis.
Hello, Belkis.
Newport News, Virginia.
Hi, Ramana. This is Donna in Williamsburg.
Hello, Donna.
Orlando, Florida.
Hi, Ramana. This is Steve.
Hello, Steve.
Raleigh, Durham, North Carolina.
Hello, Ramana. This is Michael with Arunachala and Deborah.
Hello, you all.
Roanoke, Virginia.
Hi, Ramana. This is John. Marilyn and Doris are here as well.
Hello, you all.
San Francisco, California.
Hello, Ramana. This is Noel.
Hello, Noel.
Savannah, Georgia. Savannah, Georgia. Virginia Beach, Virginia.
Hello, Ramana. This is Shelley. Have Gwen, Vivian, Jason, and Opal tonight.
Hello, you all.
Washington, D.C.
Hello, Ramana. This is Mary with Capenda, Gwen, Nancy, Ajwa, and Kate.
Hello, you all.
Winlock, Washington.
Hello, Ramana. It's Joy and Catherine.
Hello.
Bob Evans.
Hi, Ramana. This is Bob.
Claude LaBelle.
Hi, Ramana. This is Claude from Montreal.
Hello, Claude.
Faye Davis.
Hi, Ramana. It's Faye and Benjamin.
Where are you all? Where are you, in Cincinnati? Columbus?
Randy Kish.
Hello, Ramana. This is Randy.
Hello, Randy. Where are these people? Randy is in...
Bob is Boise, Idaho. Bob is Boise, Idaho.
Boise, Idaho. Okay.
And Randy?
Randy, where are you from? Ramana wanted to know.
Youngstown, Ohio.
Yeah, Akron.
Is there anyone that we've missed?
Carmen Sweetman, Nashville, Tennessee. And Teresa McCord is on with us, Ramana.
Okay, hello, you all.
Hi.
Linda Menner, Villa Grove, Illinois.
Okay, hello.
Joanne Lenz in Suffolk, Virginia.
Hello, Joanne.
Hi.
Grace Percy from Florida, Delray Beach. Ann and Jody. Hi, Ramana.
Hello. We called you earlier and you weren't on yet. Hmm?
You're right. Best tardy.
Is that everyone? Okay, let's share who all's here. Hmm?
Here in the room with Ramana, we have Beverly and Elizabeth and Diane and Richard and Keith and Linda and Sally, so good at this, and Nina and Jeannie and Angie and Jim and Ed and Chuck and James and Rick and Teresa, James, and Stan and Charlotte and Jan and Linda.
Okay. And I think I'm here. I don't have anywhere to go. I don't have anywhere else to be. Okay, does anyone have anything you would like to bring up to be addressed this evening? Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Can anyone not hear me?
A little bit low.
Okay. Is that better?
A little.
Claude in Montreal.
Yeah, close.
Well, I guess it's just being up there in Canada. You're gonna have to do something about your telephone service.
Okay.
All right, does anyone have anything to be addressed this evening? Any question, anything to be shared? Well, we can just abide in silence. Okay, Diane has here.
Something that's been coming up for me,
Let's get the microphone over there to you so that everyone can hear you.
something that's been coming up for me today,
Can
especially
everyone hear Diane?
something that's been coming up for me, especially this afternoon, is the phrase "I am my brother's keeper," and I just wanted to have you expound on that, on the biblical meaning of "I am my brother's keeper" and what the actual meaning is.
Okay, that's pretty basic. I don't know that it would be necessarily a biblical explanation, but it's a spiritual one. There is no brother apart from the self. There's no other apart from the self. So, you say, I am my brother's keeper, whatever we perceive or conceive of our brother as experiencing, our perception of them experiencing that is what they are experiencing to us, just by our perception of it. Okay.
So then, if that is the case, then if we hold a concept of them being whole and healthy or whatever, then that's what they become, just based on,
Exactly.
since it is ourselves and we are, but it's only a projection of ourselves.
Exactly. The only reality is infinite consciousness. Consciousness is what is, not the apparent modifications in consciousness or appearances in consciousness. Consciousness is. So, whatever we give rise to as an appearance in consciousness becomes apparently to us the way it is, simply because that's what we've given rise to. So, am I my brother's keeper? I think it was actually in the Bible, it was Cain, wasn't it, when he was having to do with slaying Abel? Am I my brother's keeper? And the answer is yes. Yes, we are our brother's keeper. What we perceive or conceive our brother as being is what to us they are. You get that?
Yes.
Pretty basic, pretty simple. It has to do with being aware from awareness, being conscious as consciousness. See, ordinarily we think of brother, sister, aunt, uncle, husband, wife, father, son, mother, daughter, all of these so-called relationships, that all pertains to body. So as long as we're identified with the body and the notion that I am the body, or the sense of being the body, which is really a self-contraction, isn't it? It's a pinch, a discomfort, an unpleasantness. Then all relationship is based upon, basically, on fear. Someone had written on one of your sheets this evening about the fear and getting it, that it's everything is fear and desire, or love. I think it was said by fear and love. You can say it's fear and desire, or the two functioning aspects of consciousness. And love is that which neutralizes fear and desire. The dynamics of consciousness is desire and fear. In other words, you're going toward or you're running from. Or you're trying to draw to you or repel from you. But love is the equalizing, harmonizing power. It's the self. It's the freeing quality of consciousness. So when we say, I love you, there's two, an I and a you. So to say I love you is only really a momentary event. Even if you say, oh, I will love you forever, that's really not true. In duality, we love as long as the person makes us feel good. But when the object of our love is no longer making us feel good, it's not very easy to maintain what you would call the quality of love. So love sort of flies out the window. And so you see, in truth, that's not love. It's really bargaining. It's manipulation. Isn't it? Just look and see. The only way we can love someone forever is to not see them as someone, but to recognize, to know again, holistically, totally, the truth, that there is no other. In consciousness, in pure consciousness, there is no other. There's only consciousness. Consciousness is infinite, whole, total, complete, one. It's another name for God. Being. Not a conditioned being, unconditioned being. So it's not conditioned and it's not conditional. It's the unconditioned and unconditional quality of being. That's what truth is. Truth is not conditioned or conditional. Truth is the standard by which everything else is gauged. Truth itself cannot be gauged. So when we abide in pure consciousness, as pure consciousness, there may be appearances of people and places and things. Activities are going on, modifications are occurring, but they're just modifications. Just a light show, just like watching a movie. Just like watching a TV program. Now what happens is, though, we become identified with one aspect or another, or certain aspects, or certain qualities or characteristics, you see, that is being apparently played out. So we get identified with these aspects that are being played out, and then we take positions with regard to these aspects that are being played out. Take positions for and positions against. In taking positions for and against, now we get caught in, we get sucked into the whole drama and at the effect of the drama, as opposed to actually being free of positions and thereby being at cause and living our life at cause. Then we're not at the effect of anything that is taking place, good, bad, or otherwise. In fact, good, bad, or otherwise doesn't even exist. Those are just relative terms. We get this? Okay, Diane?
If I am my brother's keeper and there's only one, then if I see myself as whole, then everyone I come in contact with is then whole, healthy, balanced, etc.
We'll see. One is whole even though they only appear to be partial. They're whole even though they appear to be incomplete. Our experience of them may be they're incomplete. See? They might even make a statement as such, oh, I'm hurting. Then we become identified with what they've stated, with their position. We side in. See, positions can be taken for or against, or in common with, or in opposition to, or alongside of, or neutral. Even though they may be taking a position, it's not up to us. It's not necessary that we take a position. But you say, well, if you don't take a position, that means you don't care. So you don't love me. You're not taking a position for me. Or if you're not for me, you're against me. See? Now that's the way it is in the apparent relative world, in the world of duality, because you're always dealing with opposites. It's the opposites that hold, or apparently hold, a relative world together, or give rise to it. Give rise to the appearance of it. Do we see? In other words, a posit cannot exist without its opposite. Huh? See, it cannot exist independent of. That's just the way it works. That's just the way it works. It's very basic, you see. It's very simple. But you see, we may have a lot of strong notions, concepts, ideas, opinions, see, thoughts, emotions, feelings about the way something should or should not be, the way someone should or should not be. They actually are expressing perfectly as they are. They're a perfect expression of their karma. Do we get it? So everyone, wherever everyone is, whenever everyone is a perfect expression of their karma. You say, well, if they're a perfect expression of their karma, they're not relating very well to me, or I'm not relating very well to them. Well, that just gives you use that to get an insight into you as to where you are, see? Not to judge where they are. Look to see where you are. Now, it may be that in the scheme of things, you see, let's say in a consensus, that their behavior, their action, their mode of operation, or whatever, what's going on with them, may be less than desirable. And you do have the ability, to some extent, to influence, to exercise an influence in their life. So, for modification, see, in the dance of this total functioning of manifestation that's happening in every given moment of existence, you see. In fact, every action does have its reaction, see. Everyone, even just a piece of lint blowing through the air is affecting the whole universe. It's having its influence on the whole universe. It's dealing with the balance of the universe. See? The whole universe has to make way for, this lint that's floating by, floating in, or floating through. Do we get it? So yes, we do exercise and have and are influential in the lives of all of those with whom we come in contact. And if you want that to always be positive, the best way to want it for it to be positive is don't take a position that it is. Do we get it? Because the moment you take the position that it is, you're creating the opposition that it's not. So it's more of a seduction. Or just best thing to do is don't do anything. Just be neutral about it. So usually things are for and against when you have a position going that something should be some way and it's not going that way. Now that can be positive or negative, meaning it's beneficial or not beneficial, but to whom? See, what may seem to be beneficial to me may not be beneficial to someone else, and vice versa. It's always that way in practically every situation. In fact, I guess in every situation. That's just the nature of dimensional existence. Manifested existence. That's just the way it works. So if we're just living free in the heart and the self, we can observe it and see it and live with it and accept it. Say, hey, that's just my karma. Acknowledge it. Accept it. And then if you feel then that you're into modifying it, you may be able to do that because you are Brahman, you are the creator. But you can't make that modification unless you first accept the way it is. I mean, you can't make it in a favorable way to gain favorable results. Do we see? See, if you immediately take a position against, then you're creating your opposition on the side of for. Do we see? So it's better. I mean, at least we share these principles, these processes, these methods, techniques, if you will, of how to work with this pliable, moldable existence, apparent existence, consciousness. How to mold it, how to fashion it, how to be a sculptor, how to be an artist, how to be a good painter, how to paint your life the way you would like your life to outpicture. And you can do it to a certain degree. See, but even if you are doing it to a certain degree, you've still got the ramifications to deal with in that, see? The consequences of that. Good, bad, or otherwise. So, as Bhagavan ultimately finally said, the best thing to do is just be quiet. Let it all work itself out. Now, if you see someone that is sort of going in a course or in a direction that you can see that's going to bring them pain and suffering, difficulty, and create, conflict and chaos and turmoil for others, then certainly, be alert, be conscious, acknowledge and accept the way it is, and then do what you can to exercise a positive influence. Sometimes that happens, it happens in different ways. You may run up 2 or 3 flags up the pole to see which one gets saluted.
Or shot.
Yeah, or shot at. Or if you once try and don't succeed, try again. Are we getting it that it's really simple? It's not a big mystery. Truth is simple. So it's the quotation of Bhagavan in this new booklet about Bhagavan. He said, "You make the truth so simple." I said, No, I don't make the truth simple. The truth is already simple.
And that's the truth.
Huh? And that's the truth. Yeah. Okay? Does that do it for you, Diana?
Yeah, sure does.
All right, who else? The heart current feels good. How about it out there in Radio Land?
Good. Bhagavan, this is Doris. Bhagavan. Ramana. Hi, where am I?
You're right on.
That's close enough.
Yeah. This is Doris.
Okay, Doris.
Recently, I had discovered that I had a really strong hold on a position, and I recognized that I wanted to let it go.
Okay.
And
did you let it go?
Yes, I did, but when I let it go, it was as if I was on a swing somewhere and that I was falling. I mean, I just felt this falling and falling and falling, and I wondered when I was going to hit ground. Well, it turned out, it turned out that I was still falling. The next day, for instance, I still felt that I was still falling, and I realized that it wasn't a bad thing that I was falling free.
Yes.
And that was one of my good things that happened to me recently.
Okay, very good. You can see how much you had locked up in that position, huh? How it was holding you.
Yes, that was it. I mean, it was like my hands were cramped to hold on, and I just let go. And as I said, I was afraid for a while, but then I just thought, that's freedom. Falling is free.
Yeah, skydive.
Right. So.
Now, utilizing that, look to see to what extent we are caught in this position that I am the body.
Yeah.
Look how strong that one is. And that's the position, that's the granddaddy of all positions. That's the position in which all of the pleasure and pain of ordinary life depend. That is where fear and desire is. Push-pull. You ever been felt like you're in a vice being squeezed and you're also being pulled apart simultaneously? Very little pleasure in that, isn't there? See, if you in your spiritual practice have not reached that place yet in which you are experiencing joy, in which joy just does seem to come very seldom, for very short durations when it does come, that's because of this strong held position, this conditioned concept, and the defending of that concept because of fear. Otherwise, what would I be? If I was not the body, what would I be? Where would be my base of existence? Where would be my realm of reality? What would be the truth? Feel that. Feel that. That's the self-contraction. That's the knot. That's the pinch. That's the core of suffering. And the motivation of seeking. Seeking to be free. And then we get caught up in this whole scenario, in this whole pursuit, this quest for freedom. And we've been involved in it for millions of years, millions of lifetimes. That's how strongly entrenched the habit is. And that's the one knot, the primary knot, that's the one knot that here in Aham we work on all the time. That's what we're working on. If you just work on that one, that'll take care of so many others. That'll solve the difficulty of so many others. Work on that one. That's basically what inquiry is doing. See, when you come to a satsang, many of you come and you say, well, something clear tonight, I don't know what it was. You write that on your evaluation sheet, you know. Something clear. A lot of people do that. A lot of people write, well, I don't know what it was. Something really clear. I don't know what it was. Well, it was just another layer. They're very, very thin layers. They're layers and layers and layers and layers and layers and layers and layers. And you take something, even tissue paper, you know. If you have enough layers of it, pretty soon you're going to have a pretty damn strong piece of cardboard there, you know, or the equivalent thereof. You get what I'm saying? It's composed of many, 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 many very thin layers. So it's just one layer at a time, one layer at a time, one layer at a time. Keep working on it, that's all right. Well, how long is it going to take? Well, it just takes as long as it takes. What difference does it make how long it takes? You got to be somewhere. You're going to be involved in something, so. Once you begin to get it that this is the only thing that's worth being involved in, In other words, primarily, this is where your primary work is, your primary sadhana. You say, well, my obligations and responsibilities of life draw my attention into other things. Yes, that may be fact, as it pertains again to all these layers. See, more and more layers. See, to this identification with this body am I idea, and everything that goes with this body am I am idea. I am the body notion. The seeming personality, the seeming person, the seeming entity that we have come to believe and think that we are by this habit of repeating this habit over and over and over and over again. But it's just a habit. It's entirely conceptual. Totally visionary. A dream. A modification taking place in this unmodified and unmodifiable consciousness of being, the nature of which is infinite. The true nature of the consciousness that you are is infinite. It is not finite. But you've become identified with the finite notion, your finiteness. And you protect your finiteness because it is finite, it's limited, it's short-lived. See, that's life, it's short-lived. I'm going to die. But only that which is born dies. The big question then is, were you born? See? Who am I? Who was born? The body was born. But am I this body? See, that was Bhagavan Ramana's enlightenment. For those of you who have read the account, who am I? I am this body. But am I this body? When the body dies, do I die? And see, that's the only question that is really worth a quarter. 75 cents or a dollar. $1 million. $1 billion. All of the wealth in the universe. We got a gold dollar. Y'all seen the commercial of George? Going around saying, we got a gold dollar. But my face is not on it. See? George is pretty smart. His face is not on it. He's not identified with it. He's just enjoying it. Just spending it. See how you gravitate automatically to this contraction. That's the habit, gravitating to the contraction. Catch yourself doing it. See yourself doing it. Inquire into your doing it, see? And then watch, and if you're watching and inquiring into your gravitating to this contraction, obviously, if you'll just look right there in that observation, in that process of observing, you are observing you gravitating to the contraction. Right? But you're prior to all of that. If you're able to observe all of that going on, why not remain in that prior awareness itself? That is, we can say it's just as legitimate. Hell, it's more legitimate. If it wasn't for the prior awareness, there wouldn't be the conditional awareness. If there wasn't this unconditional awareness, there couldn't be the conditional awareness. Don't we see that? If there wasn't pure consciousness, there couldn't be conditioned consciousness. But the habit has been held for so long in identifying with the conditioned consciousness that we cannot see the unconditioned and unconditionable consciousness. That is not only not conditioned, it is not capable of being conditioned. And there's where grace is. There's where freedom is. There's where the release is. That's the door. What's the door? Unconditional consciousness that can't be conditioned. It's eternally non-conditional, unconditional. Sound like a dog. Somebody sneezing? Or a dog a barking?
Ramana, this is Ajua.
Okay, Ajua.
I have a question that relates to what you're just talking about. Most times I understand that I am not the body, but the issue for me is in what's born again. If it's karma, if I have karma that I'm born again to deal with, isn't it that I'm identified with more so than the physical body? And how do I not identify with that?
Who's identified with it?
I am.
Well, there it is. See, carry this inquiry all the way back to pure consciousness. See, there's an I there which is conditioned consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the conditioned consciousness that incarnates, apparently. In other words, it takes on a form. You can say what we are identified with is form. A face. A form. And look at the whole motivation of in the East, in certain countries of the East and the Near East, of saving what?
Face.
Yes, saving face. Countries have wars over nothing more than the loss of face, saving face. You get it? And what is it? Saving face. Again, taking a position, enforcing and defending a position, rather than being free, which is just really lack of intelligence. It's ignorance. And so it's ignorance that reincarnates, or appears to. Understand that's only a modification taking place in the unmodifiable consciousness, so it's only an appearance. Okay?
Okay.
Let's get it now about the appearance of things. The appearance may still be appearing, but that doesn't mean just because it's appearing that that's the way it is, because it's appearing that way. What did Jesus say about that?
Judge not by appearances.
I didn't hear you.
He said, judge not by appearances,
Exactly.
but judge with righteous judgment.
Yes. Which with right judgment is no judgment at all. It's coming back into unconditioned being. Is everyone flowing in the heart?
Yeah.
That's the most important. It's not what I'm saying, it's what I am. I'm speaking consciousness to consciousness, heart to heart. Just look at where my words indicate, don't get caught up in the words. Don't let the words conceal the underlying radiance of this infinite consciousness that is the self. And once you've got the knack of just realizing that, staying in that, then stay in that. Yes, That doesn't mean that the mind doesn't still maybe have its tendencies. They're there, that they have not, these are the vasanas, you see, that have not been dissolved yet, have not been neutralized yet, that'll still exert a pull, an influence, or a try to, or attempt to. That'll still be going on, but so what? If that wasn't going on, something else would be. Wouldn't it? Stay in the heart.
Ramana, this
Yes.
is Joy.
Okay, Joy.
I have a question about purpose and intention.
All right.
My experience in deep meditation is purposelessness
Mm-hmm.
and intentionlessness,
Is what?
being intentionless.
Okay.
Ultimately, with our sheets, are we not to come to that place where we just are open space without intention, without purpose?
Yes, If, but that's not just ultimately, be that way now.
Now. So I guess it's more of a question about using the sheets and using them to come to that place without using thought on the sheet.
Yeah, the sheets just indicate when you're filling out the sheets bring your attention back to you making an inventory. See? Taking an inventory of your events of the course of the day, where you can see where your attention has been attending. You there?
Yes.
Okay. Where you are being affected by, where you're being pulled, what's pulling on you. See? There's the area where you can focus. You see? Meaning if you want to speed up your process.
Right.
You see? Now, those of you who are not on the Cecil and don't use the sheets because you don't like to fill out those damn forms, just go ahead and continue to suffer with forms.
Thank you.
Fight with forms. See? Always fighting form. So I got too much form, I'm identified already. I don't need that Cecil form. But the Cecil form gets you in touch with formlessness. Let you come into formlessness. To abide in the true nature of being. See? Come into the spirit of it. See? Not just the letter, into the spirit. The spirit giveth life. Huh? The letter killeth, but the spirit giveth life. We're going to have a session here this weekend, the Cecil Progressive. It's kind of interesting how people come out of the woodworks, want to come to the Cecil Progressive, and they're not even on the Cecil.
Can you tell us about the Cecil Progressive, what that is?
Yeah, that's for people who are on the Cecil. That's for people who are living this teaching, who are in the heart, as the heart, living the heart, and are taking an inventory moment by moment throughout the day. That is where you make progress. So the Cecil Progressive is for those who are into making progress in your sadhana, in your spiritual practice. Got it?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Now all of those now that are contracted, feeling rejected and unloved, unwanted, I don't belong because I'm not on Cecil. You're just doing that to yourself. That's your own denial. That's your own denial of your own true nature of living conscious and clear. And I'm saying that in compassion. I'm saying that in real love, not conditional. Freeing. Freeing.
Ramana?
Yes.
This is Claude.
Hello, Claude.
I didn't quite understand with the previous question with respect to intentionlessness, and I understood what you said about taking inventory, but I didn't understand the connection with that and specifying intentions in the A part of the form. How those are connected.
Well,
and how that leads to being intentionless.
Well, it's getting in touch with where your life is intended. See, what is your intention? Is your intention to be intentionless, or are you caught up in intentions? See, which intentions usually have to do with desires.
Yeah.
Positions. Huh?
So that's the paradox for me, in the sense, by specifying intentions, am I not feeding this wheel of desire in some way?
Well, it gets you in touch with where you've been doing it all along. Hey, spiritual teaching is paradoxical.
Yeah.
The truth is paradoxical. It's so simple, it's paradoxical. It's so paradoxical, it's simple. See, don't find conflict in that. Don't find confusion in that. Find clarity in that.
Okay.
Ramana?
Yes.
May I share something?
All right.
In our preparing for the Cecil Progressive this weekend, a lot of fine-tuning is coming up. I can feel that as we're talking about purpose and intention. And one of the things that about the intention is go back to the original meaning of intention that Ramana gave us. Its intention is what is already so. If we're thinking about our intention, then we're going in the wrong direction. When we come into the stillness of the heart and there's no thought, and then out of that is revealed our intention, then that's the pure way of using the section A in our, then we're giving up the I, being in the stillness of the heart, and it's there what's so.
You just got a free course in this in Weekends Progressive.
Great.
So get your plane ticket and be here.
I've got the plane ticket and I will be there in 2 weeks.
Okay.
Did you get it?
Yes, I did. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
That was helpful.
You know, the paradox of it all is that it's purposefulness. See, in the world, it's important to have purpose. To be free of the world, it's important to be purposeless. In the world, it's important that you have conscious intention, meaning consciousness with regard to your intention. To be free of the world, you be without intention, other than the intention to be free of the world. And then that's tricky too. See? Don't even take the position to be free of the world. You get it? If you take a position to be free of the world, what does that imply?
That I'm separate.
Yes, that you're already bound. Now you're assuming a sense of bondage, and attempting now to extricate, free yourself from what is actually a self-imposed sense of bondage. Do we get it?
Yes.
Pretty basic. Isn't it fun? Even when my head is hurting, it's fun. Even when my face is a piece of raw meat, it's fun. Fun. Say, oh shit, isn't it fun? Incidentally, all of you all who had a hand in or had anything to do with my hot tub, I sure do thank you. I really appreciate it. It's really great. When we finish here, let's all take our clothes off and go out and get them.
Okay.
I was really beginning to wonder if I was ever going to get it, but I finally got it.
Did you take a position for it, Ramana?
Well, I had to finally, yeah. When you create a context, the creating of a context is taking a position, the position that defines the context. See, if you're going to create in the world, you have to take a position for that which you're creating. See it? Didn't I say it's paradoxical? Accept the paradox. Be conscious of the paradox. You see? Work with the paradox. Don't fight with the paradox. Don't resist the paradox. Don't get angry and resentful at the paradox. Acknowledge and accept the paradox. Now you can be at cause with the paradox rather than being at effect of the paradox. It's just a matter of being conscious. And right now we're in this conscious company. We're all conscious, and it's easily revealed, is it not?
Yeah.
See? That's all that it requires. Just be in the self, be in the heart. To be in the heart, you must take a position to remain in the heart. If you don't take a position to be the self, you will be the not self. See? That's paradoxical. Because you finally get to the place you can't even take a position to be the self. You just relax into being. You got it?
Yeah.
Just be with that, see? We have 2 minutes.
Raman, I have a question. This is Audra again.
All right, a 2-minute one.
When you create the context for something or the position for something to be in the self, does that not give rise to resistance?
Well, that's what I said.
Okay.
And then you slay it with the inquiry.
Okay.
You accept it. You accept the resistance.
That's what you mean when you say paradox.
That's the paradox, yes. You take a position, and in the taking of the position, you necessarily and automatically draw up the opposition to it. Now you accept the opposition to it and bring the opposition in alignment with the context. You take the very negative and make it positive in the form of it being supportive of the context.
And that's how you get a hot tub.
Yeah. Or whatever. Okay?
Right.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's see. We got about 30 seconds. Let's just kind of be in the silence. Feel the heart current. Be the heart current. Be aware of the magnetic drawing of the heart current. And be drawn into the heart by the magnetic drawing of the current itself. Don't effort, just be drawn. Consider this company. And just be drawn. Namaste.
Namaste, Ramana.